Good afternoon, folks. Robert Chappell, Executive Editor of Madison365, here with your daily update for today, Wednesday, December 1st. Can you believe it's December already? It's amazing. It is uh, universally pretty bad news on the COVID front, I'm afraid. We'll get through that, and I've got some other local and national news, sort of Beloit-focused news today for some reason, kind of coincidentally, but we'll get to that in a few minutes. First, let's talk COVID. First of all, bad news: the vaccine numbers have not moved appreciably. 56.1% of us are vaccinated. That's the same as yesterday. 59% have gotten one shot, so that's a little bit higher than yesterday. That's great, which tells me the fact that those who have completed the series has not moved, but those who've gotten at least one shot has moved. That means that all the bulk of the vaccines that are happening right now are in kids who weren't eligible before, that's decent news actually. Which means that a month from now, we'll really start to see that percentage of people who've completed the vaccine start to move, because all those we're getting 12 to 15 to 20,000 doses a day, right? In the last couple of weeks, driven largely by children, 5 to 11. We'll start to see them get their second shot as we go through December and January. So those numbers will start to climb, which I hope will stem the tide of all these other numbers I'm going to tell you about. Our 7-day positive test rate today is back over 12.2%. And it's actually telling us now, remember that coming out of a holiday weekend, there was testing happening. There were people going in and either going into the hospital because they're sick or getting tested because they have to for work or whatever during the holiday weekend. Not as much testing, but the testing was still happening. But the results weren't being processed as much because people who work for the state also get to have holidays. So our data this week is a little bit delayed, which is okay, right? We don't need to obsess over these numbers every day, even though we do, right? I do. So some of the rates and stuff that we've reported this week are being revised as that new data comes in. One number that's revised of note today is that the 29th, which would have been Tuesday, they're now saying the positive test rate was 12.6. If I remember correctly, we reported that 11.7 on Tuesday. And now they're saying it was actually 12.6, which is this is really bad. I'm trying to see when's the last time it was over 12. Last time it was 12.6 was December 4th, 2020. So, and it was 12.2 on December 7th. And it hasn't been 12.2 since then. So congratulations to us. We're back to December 2020 in terms of positive test rate. Right, that's a 7-day rate. That's in the past 7 days, 12.2% of tests have been positive. Our 7-day average of new cases has gone up again slightly to 2,796. That was over 3,000 just last week. So, but that lower rate reflects the lower rate of testing over the holidays. We're still reporting 4,534 new cases today, which is pretty much on the high side. Couple other numbers that I don't like at all. The death rate, 7-day average of reported deaths. These are deaths that happened 6 to 8 weeks ago, right? But they're just being reported. 31 new deaths confirmed yesterday. 31. There were 41 the day before that. So we've had 72 deaths confirmed in the past 2 days. And our 7-day average is now up to 17. It was 15 yesterday. So I don't love that. Again, that's still a little bit of catch-up data from the holiday weekend where they weren't processing death certificates as much. But still, the 7-day average goes from 15 to 17 in one day. It's likely to be in the 20s pretty soon. For context, heart disease remains the number one killer of people in Wisconsin, as everywhere. In Wisconsin, that rate is about 31 deaths per day of heart disease, year round. Okay, so when we start to get into the 20s and 30s of COVID, your death rate is similar to the number one killer of people in the state. So just keep that for context. Now, hospitalizations also not great. 1,406 people currently hospitalized. That's actually down 12 from yesterday. Okay, so that's, is down a little bit. It didn't spike any further upward, which is good. But that's still 128 more than a week ago. So a little bit less than about an 8% increase over the past week. ICU population, however, is up again. It's over 400 now, 408 people currently in the ICU. That's up 15 from yesterday. And that's up 71 in the past week, which is well over 15%. Let me do the math on my calculator here, because as I mentioned before, I'm an English major. I don't do math in my head very well. 17% increase in ICU population in the past 7 days, just COVID patients. That's not a 17% increase in the overall population of ICUs. That's 17% increase just in COVID patients admitted to intensive care. The result of that, or one of the results of that, is that there's only 49 ICU beds left in the state of Wisconsin, which means that 97-ish percent, 96.5% of ICU beds in the state of Wisconsin are occupied. That's not good. That's not good at all. So the situation is not great at the moment, and it's not getting better. We do know, just another bit of news, we do know that the Biden administration is considering tightening up testing requirements for travel into the United States. The proposal on the table, this is not approved yet, but this is what the thinking is within the administration, that anybody coming to the United States, even if you're fully vaccinated, even if you're an American citizen, would have to test negative the day before, not 3 days before, as is the current policy. That is probably preferable to an all-out travel ban, right, from certain countries or whatever. And the other piece of news we have today that we haven't even posted, no, we did post it on the website. My colleague Dave Dahmer posted it. The first case of Omicron has landed in the United States, or has been discovered in the United States, has been confirmed in California. I would expect our first case of Omicron to crop up in Wisconsin within the next week. Right? We don't know. I mean, a lot of people are very concerned about Omicron. A lot of very smart people who know about this stuff are concerned about Omicron. But we don't have a lot of data just yet as to just how bad it will be. So we'll have to wait and see. So that's the COVID situation. I have other news. Including some really exciting news to share with you on the other side of the break. So stay with us. Give me like 30 seconds. I'll be right back with more news for you from Madison365.org. Stick around.
Apply yourself. At Madison College, we encourage you to be your truest self. You're a trendsetter. Whether it's the clothes you're wearing, the music you're listening to, or the new game you're playing, you're into it first. Friends and family seek your advice because you're a natural-born leader. For you, life is all about taking things to the next level. And at Madison College, we can't wait to see what you do. Apply yourself today.
All right. The feature story this morning is kind of is a good one, I think. In Beloit, there's the statewide Boys and Girls Club has a facility in Beloit, and they're moving. Right, so this Boys and Girls Club, there as everywhere, shapes a lot of lives, and so three of the men whose lives it shaped, or kind of my age, a little bit older than me actually, three alumni from Beloit Memorial, two from 1988, one from 1990, all of who have gone on to be fabulously successful elsewhere in the country, are investing in Beloit to buy the old Boys and Girls Club and turn it into a new community center. This is Ty Evans here on the left, Harvey Logan in the middle, and Michael Hodges on the right. Ty Evans is the head women's basketball coach at the HBCU Tennessee State. Harvey Long is a special education teacher in Alabama. Mike Hodges is an entrepreneur and actually is an agent representing NBA players based in Illinois. They have put in a bid. They're going to close at the end of this month, and they're going to then be working to establish the nonprofit organization that will run the center. They're not trying to duplicate services, right? They're trying to find needs and fill gaps. And I talked with Mike Hodges. This is something really interesting. That we talk a lot about Black Lives Matter, and Black Lives matter most when they can take leadership and take ownership. So they're going to take ownership and create something for that community. I think it's very exciting. Speaking of Beloit, a friend of ours, Gina Stevens, who has recently been appointed a county board supervisor in Rock County, announced today, like literally just 20 minutes ago. I don't even have anything on the website yet. I'm going to talk to her later tonight. But we just got the announcement minutes ago. So this is breaking news, everybody. She's going to run for city council, as well as she's going to run for a full term on the county board and run to serve on the city council, which is not actually all that unusual. I mean, it's a bit unusual, but not unheard of. We have a couple of people here in Dane County who's Dorothy Krauser, for example, served both on the county board and the Fitchburg City Council. And if Sheila Stubbs, who serves on the county board and in the state legislature. Like, these aren't necessarily competing interests. But Gina is going to do that. I'm going to talk to her tonight and look for that. I'm going to have a story on that and what her thinking is on the site tomorrow morning, most likely, at Madison365.org. And finally, national news, another election story for you. Stacey Abrams, who we like to claim as Madison's own, Stacey Abrams, she lived here for like 3 years when she was very small, like until she was 3. She left. So she's not, it's a stretch to say she's from Madison, but we can still claim her a little bit. She's going to run for governor of Georgia again. She very narrowly lost to Brian Kemp a couple of years ago and has gained a lot of traction since then as an advocate for electoral reform, for voting access. That's been kind of her main thing. She declined to run for Senate for that reason, because she was focused on helping people vote and helping make sure that everyone had access to vote, and is now going to hope that those people come out and vote for her for governor. It's not clear yet who's going to run in the Republican side of the primary in Georgia, but it's a potential rematch between her and Brian Kemp for governor of Georgia. All right, that is what I have for you today. Please do think about supporting nonprofit news by joining the fam at Madison365.org/thefam. And stay with us, stay tuned. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Sign up for the daily. We get a daily newsletter that goes out at 5 o'clock every day, as well as a weekly newsletter on Saturdays that's a bit more curated. A lot of ways for you to be involved with what we're doing here. So please feel free to jump in and stay involved. We'll be back tomorrow with more news for you. Hopefully some better news on the COVID front, but I'm not super optimistic, but we'll keep track of it for you anyway. And until then, take care. Take care of each other. Take care of yourself. Have a great night. We'll see you soon.
This is 365 Media.